Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Lisa Joseph. 3 communities vulnerable to the effects of natural disasters have been identified for mitigation assistance under an OECS Commission initiative. The Commission, through its disaster risk management and climate change adaptation programs, is focusing on reducing vulnerability and building resilience of communities in member territories. The Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CCRIF, has partnered with the OECS on that initiative. A memorandum of understanding signed back in 2012 lends access to technical assistance and grant support. One of the major activities is the conduct of assessment to prioritize communities as well as the development of mitigation strategies. To that end, a disaster management specialist was contracted to assess 3 communities here in St. Lucia. The findings were released for validation at a workshop held Thursday. John Norville is the program officer at the OECS Commission.
There's a community perception, and there's what may be called evidence-based, or certain agencies may be able to refine the findings, either support, validate, or indicate that there may be another cause or other issues involved. So we are hoping that this meeting, which entails also bringing national agencies like Met Services and so on together, would be able to help us to finalize these assessments, validate, confirm, maybe need to go back and refine. We are also hoping that at this meeting we would be able to develop strategic action plans to address the vulnerabilities in these communities and to identify resources, whether it is in-kind contribution, maybe support or commitments from national entities, or whether it may be financial resources, because we do have a number of regional partners that are involved or engaged in providing community-level funding. When we look at our comprehensive disaster management, you have about, let's say, 10 or more hazards. But what we look at is what is prevalent in the community in terms of what they have experienced, but also they may not have experienced something, but because of their location. So for example, tsunamis. We may not have experienced one maybe in our lifetime, but most of these communities lie along the coast, so it is possible and they would be vulnerable in the event that a tsunami passed by. But right now the prevalent hazards are flooding. In some cases you have landslides, soil erosion, and even going to the flooding, you have, because most of them are located either between rivers or close to rivers, and then you also have the sea bounding. So you have riverine flooding as well as coastal flooding, and that makes them even more vulnerable.
The communities assessed were the Ancillary Village, Denry Village, Margaretit and Vonlet in Mico. The CCRIF representative Gina Phillips says it is imperative that agencies have a full grasp of the risk posed to the communities.
In addition to partnerships like this, CRIF's main business is providing insurance for Caribbean governments against hurricanes, earthquakes, and excess rainfall. So those will benefit communities indirectly. For example, during Hurricane Gonzalo last year, a number of countries who had excess rainfall coverage, they got payouts from CRIF. And so it's up to the government to use those payouts to benefit persons throughout the country. But these specific interventions with organizations such as OECS, where we can go into communities and do specific community level work, that's another aspect of what CRIF does. For example, we have a small grants program which provides funding for community-based organizations who wish to do projects to reduce vulnerabilities in their communities.
Mrs. Phillips says the CCRIF has extended its reach since coming into existence in 2007. 16 governments had signed on then, with only earthquake and hurricane insurance available to them.
Our hurricane insurance only includes wind and storm surge. So any damage that was caused by rains during those hurricanes were not included. So that's why 2 years ago, for the first time, we were able to offer this excess rainfall coverage. And 8 countries purchased it in the first year, and 6 more have purchased it this year because they realize that that is where a lot of damage comes from. So they are very interested in the excess rainfall product, and other countries in the region who are not yet members, who don't necessarily suffer from hurricanes but have lots of rain, throughout the year, they are also interested. And just recently we've expanded into Central America. So Nicaragua is the first country that has joined since we first started in 2007, and other countries in Central America we hope will be coming on this year and next year.
The session was held at the Bay Gardens Inn.